Go.
All right.
And we're live.
Yeah, the only thing about these, just try to keep it consistent.
Cool.
Like some people do
That's
this
like perfect the way you are.
Yeah.
I got you.
But I saw like we were just on pods and like they're all around here. They get really comfortable out. I'm like, damn, I hope the audio's picking up.
But yeah, we usually start off with banter. We don't have a big intro.
Okay, I got you.
And then I do the big intro. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Think It With a Pump. We just acquired a pump, literally. We just got done with it 10 minutes ago. And we are on set now, and we are live.
Still
Today,
in the gym.
we got a very special guest, ScottyKFitness.
What's good?
What do you go by?
Scotty.
Just Scotty?
Just Scotty.
Scotty.
Yes, sir.
First and foremost, I just want to, right off the bat, actually, I'm sorry, for the audio listeners, do you want to tell the people what you do before we get started?
Absolutely. So I am most prevalent on TikTok. I do funny cooking videos where I'm just a silly little guy. And I mix in like jump cuts, and I can do the splits and jeans across my kitchen counters. I'm randomly flexing, shirtless like an idiot, and I do macro-friendly recipes. And I try to remind people that the brand of food that you're eating is not that serious. And then I usually give some type of life advice at the end of my videos. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much it. I also do a different kind of tone on my channel where I'm shaving my face and giving advice to the younger audience in a different series called Sup Kid.
Sup, kid.
Sup Kid.
I love it. Now, honestly, this is like my first impression of meeting Scotty because I didn't really do a deep dive. I was on this trip. We're actually located in New York still.
Correct.
So this is our third pod in a row in New York.
We're still in New York. Our boy Luke had a Gymshark event today.
I did.
That I snuck into.
He sure did. He weaseled his way in.
100%, dude. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's awesome.
He said that. He's like, I'll probably just try to force in it, sneak in. He did.
I mean, when you're a grown-ass man with a mustache like yours, like I feel like you can get into a lot.
It worked out. You know, there is a secret to it. If you carry around a clipboard, nobody stops you.
That's a good point. Or like a construction vest.
Yeah. Carry a ladder.
Ladder. Yeah, I've seen ladder. You can get
That's
anywhere
awesome.
with a ladder.
Yeah.
That's dope.
But,
Sorry, go ahead.
The event was pretty cool too. Like showing up, I brought my videographer Josh. Mm-hmm. We filmed some like B-roll in there. I did the full splits in front of the Gymshark sign, and then we bounced out.
It was awesome. Kept it short and simple.
Too easy, man.
Yeah. Had to show your face. But speaking of your face, that beautiful mustache.
Yes. So I started growing the mustache as homage to the fire department because I was a firefighter full-time in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And little known fact about the mustache in the fire department. So before self-contained breathing apparatuses, or the SCBA, where you would breathe oxygen in a fire, the old school firefighters would grow these giant mustaches on their face where they would wet them before going into a fire, and so that they could suck air through the mustache to filter some of the particulates of the smoke, as well as they would snot like crazy in the fire because of all the smoke inhalation, and the snot would run around the mustache and it wouldn't go into their mouth.
Holy shit.
So that's why people now in the fire department grow mustaches. So that's why I've got this caterpillar/dead squirrel on my face.
Dude, I never would have ever thought there was like an actual reason behind it.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
very interesting.
Yeah. So, and the guys who didn't grow mustaches or couldn't grow mustaches, they would crawl, and I've been told this, it could be wrong, they would crawl as low to the floor as possible, and so they called those guys carpet sniffers, just
Yeah.
But yeah, so the mustache, it came with the territory of being a firefighter. It's become a part of me now. I had an amazing experience as a fireman, being able to help the community, be a part of that awesome community itself of first responders, and it's a job like no other. It's incredibly fulfilling.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's dope. So you were a firefighter before you went full-time social media?
Yeah, so my background's a little diverse. I joined the military at 17. I was a drill instructor at a military academy at 21. I became a full-time police officer at 22. Sometime before then, I was a sergeant in a jail. I left from law enforcement and moved on to bounty hunting in the state of Texas. Moved from bounty hunting to private military contracting in Afghanistan. Got home from that at the height of COVID, and then ended up kind of bouncing around here and there, and ended up in construction. Then I got my EMT license. Then I became a fireman, and then social media kind of took off. And I've been in the social media space now for like 3.5 months. And so I left the fire service about 3.5 weeks ago.
Wow, fresh.
Yeah.
Straight into it.
That's crazy.
I'm an all or nothing kind of guy. I'm a full send.
Yeah, that's it, man.
I love that.
100%, man.
But do you just love helping people? Because like those are all like, public servant like
Yeah,
jobs?
that's the idea. So like, I believe strongly that you should grow into the person you needed when you were younger, right? And as I was a young man, I wanted to feel safe. I wanted to feel protected and connected. And that's my whole thing, is that I want to provide that for somebody else. And whether that means putting on a badge, putting on a vest, a gun belt, or a fire coat, whatever that looks like, that's what I wanted to do.
Yep.
And I got to realize all of that. And now I have a larger outreach in the social media space, and it's amazing.
It's awesome.
I love it,
Happy
man.
for you, man.
It's fucking so cool.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to ask about Bounty Hunter, man. How's that? How was that?
Dude, I moved down to Texas after I left law enforcement on a whim. I had no plans. I just went down to Texas, and I got hooked up with this bounty hunting agency. They had 72 offices across Texas, and I could throw a dart at the map of Texas and just go there for like a week at a time. And I was my own boss. I got to drive and arrest people, and that was it. It was great. It was good money, but I ended up getting poached to go to Afghanistan, and I spent some time in Kabul and Kandahar and Mazar Sharif in 2019.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love that. Do you have any like? So you've done all this. You worked in a jail.
Yep.
You were a cop at one point.
Yep.
EMT. Bounty hunter. You gotta have one crazy story.
There's a few. There's a few crazy ones. I mean, I think the most fulfilling ones are like, I can sum up all of it pretty simply, where like, as a fireman, you are primarily emergency medical services, right? That is your gig until there's a fire. So they do a lot of community outreach too. So you see those firemen that are standing on the corner with boots that people put money into, right? And so you're collecting money for charity, right? And so I'm doing that one day. We're standing on the corner in Tulsa, Oklahoma, collecting money in a boot, and just like waving at people and having fun. And then a call drops for a shooting, right? So you're like high-fiving 5-year-olds to like hopping in the truck and going plugging bullet wounds. Or like a head-on collision in a motorcycle accident, or somebody's grandma fell in between the toilet and the shower because they slipped. And it's always new, it's always fresh, but there's always somebody that needs you, right? And I think that's the best part about public service, is you get to be that person, right? So, and I have a story that I tell often. I'll tell closer to the end as to why I wanted to be that person. But I think that it's important for somebody to fill that role. And the stories, some stories get kind of crazy, the story of my first fire. So why I wear a hat all the time. So first fire, brand new rookie, right? I didn't really get past my rookie stage very far, but brand new, 3 weeks out of the fire academy. Call drops at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm still wet behind the ears. I'm a green fireman, and I hop on the truck. I don't even remember getting out of bed. I don't remember putting on my bunker gear, but all I remember is grabbing the hose and running up a flight of stairs, and this apartment's on fire. And my captain, great guy, great crew, they're yelling at me like, "Scotty, get in the attic." That's where the fire's at, right? Yeah. I can't see anything up there, but I mask up and I throw my helmet on, and they help me get into the attic because I couldn't do a muscle up. We didn't have a ladder. But I get up there, and I'm the first one at the fire. I'm the first one in the attic. I'm the first one on the hose, right? So I'm about to open this up, and I'm crawling into the attic, and my helmet gets ripped off. And now I'm burning. But it's my first fire. I didn't know if I was actually in pain or if I was just being a bitch. So
yeah, that's valid.
I opened up the hose, and I started getting steam burns. But again, I didn't know if it was real or not, because you don't know what real heat is until you've fought a few fires. So I opened up the hose, and I stayed up there for a little bit, not like super duper long, but long enough to burn my head. So I had 2nd and 3rd degree burns all over my scalp. I was out of work for like 3 months. until I could go back. I went back to work, and then like legit a month later, I had a knee surgery. So the fire service, especially at my age, really destroys you. So I'm glad to have had the experience on the fire truck or on an ambulance or whatever that was at the time, but I'm glad to be out of it for my longevity.
Yeah.
That's good.
You paid your dues, man. I mean, you did a lot. You've done a lot for people. Man,
there's
Putting
a
yourself
lot
out there in general is just.
There's a lot more people that do a lot more. You know,
Yeah.
Shout out to first responders across the world. I mean, completely underpaid, underfunded, and underappreciated job.
Yeah.
All of it.
Shout out you.
Come on.
Yeah, no, thank you for all your service, man.
Regardless if you want to hear it or not.
Yeah,
You know?
we're gonna
I don't
tell
accept
you.
it.
Yeah, not accepted. All right, fair.
But no, man, lifting with you guys was awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, you're freakishly strong.
Thank
you.
He was looking at me. Okay, it was just to point that out
I
for
appreciate
audio
it.
listeners.
I know.
Yeah, but no, like I've been following Brodie for years, right?
Really?
And then like you popped up,
Yeah.
right? And I had seen your stuff, and I was like, "There's no way these guys are friends." Like, your skits are awesome.
Thank you.
You know, so like being able to like hang out with you guys and kind of go through a workout, and it's an awesome experience. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
being here. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This guy is funny. He cracks me up. I was telling them yesterday because Luke wasn't super familiar with Scotty, so I was telling him, I was like, dude, this dude's hilarious. He talks so well. It's like, we got to have him on the pod. And I was telling him, since you reached out to me, you reached out to me on TikTok DMs.
Yeah.
First off, nobody TikTok DMs.
You got to try somewhere.
It's like, I look back, it was like, I didn't respond to you because I never check them, ever.
Yeah.
So that's why I got your number. Anyway, but this guy's hilarious. But so speaking of being hilarious, you have a lot of funny quotes in your videos.
Yes. Yeah. So all of those happened by accident, by the way.
Really?
I think that I found my niche. I just stumbled into it, right? So one day I was like, I was mad about the fitness industry. I kept scrolling across dumb shit, like fitness myths and like keto diets and all this stuff. And so I made a satire video.
Yeah.
Where it did not come across as satire. So
Oh.
the opening hook was, I want pizza, but I don't want to get fat. Let's make a chicken crust pizza. And I went through this whole thing, and I made like a chicken cutlet with buffalo sauce on it. That's all it was. And people were like, oh, one pizza is not going to make you fat, you dumb. Like, I was
Yeah.
like, correct. So I made another video in response to that where I got a pizza, and I took it out to my garage, my home gym, and I plopped it on a butcher block. And I was like, I'm going to eat this whole pizza and not get fat. Let's talk about some stupid fitness myths.
Yeah.
And that video popped. And so I was like, all right, so now I'm going to make some more cooking videos. And out of nowhere, I started, every time I added something to like the recipe, I'd be like, all right, 220 grams in the bowl. And then like people were like, oh shit, that's a new vocal stem. Like, so it's
Yeah.
in the bowl. It's fuck Vshred. It's not that serious. And it's not that serious comes from like Great Value brand stuff, right?
Yeah.
Walmart brand stuff. Or if I use a sugar-free syrup or a sugar-free sweetener or something to that effect, it's like I got a lot of comments that were like, the chemicals in that are gonna kill you. So that turned to me like in the back of my kitchen, like, the chemicals. I pop up to the
funny.
camera and I'm like, shut up. So the knife hand, the pay attention, all that stuff happened organically, right?
Yup.
And so it caught on, and I love it. And so the Vshred thing caught on real fast.
I was about to say, everybody's going to want to hear this. What
Yeah.
is your beef with Vshred?
So
I even want to know.
Yeah.
So Vshred itself is a company, right? So the company of Vshred totes itself as a health and wellness company, right? Where they do personal training, but it's not owned by a health and wellness like brand.
Mm-hmm.
It's owned by marketing directors. They're fantastic at their job, but they're dickheads. So they have the face of their company is Vincent Sant, right? Vincent Sant is this pretty boy who's perfectly manicured. He's got veneers. He's always jacked. He's always been jacked. And so he'll step up on camera, and I'm sure you've seen it, where he's like, you think I'm going to eat this pizza or this rabbit food, right? Where he's got a salad. And he's like, I'm not eating this. I'm eating pizza. And you can do that and lose weight, which is accurate. But then he goes into somatotypes.
Bro, I know who you're talking about now.
Yes. Fuck that guy. So
Yes.
he goes into somatotypes, which are a pseudoscience that's been debunked since the 80s, that was brought into fruition by a doctor of psychology in the 50s who stated endomorphs, or let's just say like short and robust individuals, are bubbly and happy, and tall and skinnier individuals are more crass and rude, and you should treat them as such. So it doesn't make any fucking sense, right?
Right.
It's about as serious as astrology. Mm-hmm. It's not fucking real. So the whole thing, that's what they base everything off of, this company.
Yeah.
So they have you jump through all these hoops after one of these stupid videos that Vincent Sant does, where he'll come out and be like, let's talk about some low-calorie snacks. And he grabs a banana and 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, slaps it on there, takes a 500-calorie bite of a banana, and is like, health and wellness. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Because 6 months later, he'll come out and be like, here's the foods that are keeping you fat. And it's a handful of peanuts. Pick your fucking lane, right? And so they base everything off of these somatotypes. And you get through this whole thing, and they're like, you're an endomorph. Now you can only eat like fish and veggies.
That's so dumb.
And they send you to a personal trainer, right? Now I have interviewed 3 people who have worked at this company, okay, as personal trainers. And according to their statements, right, the way that they funnel these clients into these personal trainers, right, it's all 1099 contracting. They send them over and they give them these pre-planned workout programs, right? They're all generated. And then they generate a meal plan. Now, anybody in the fitness and health industry knows that if you're not a dietitian or a registered nutritionist, you should not be prescribing meal plans, right? You can give guidelines, you can give meal ideas, but giving a whole meal plan is like, eat this every day, this is what you do, that's not legal. But they do it anyway, right? So I know for a fact that there was one individual that I won't name that allegedly his statements are that he had a client of his reach out who was struggling with body dysmorphia, mental health issues and aspects of their program, and instead of being able to help her through it as he was trying, his manager called him and said, hey, stop talking to her, give her a fat burner, and move on. So they put supplements instead of mental health advocacy. And he refused to do so, and he got fired.
Wow.
Right?
What?
That's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
So, and then, of course, the pizza, the donuts, all that stuff that Vincent Sant himself promotes on his videos that are, again, scripted and manicured to make him look smart and jacked. None of that food is in the software that they use to auto-generate these meal plans. So these people get their meal plans. They're like, oh, where's my pizza? Where's my donuts? Right?
Yep.
And then he'll come out with that video. They're like, peanuts are making you fat. And they're like, oh, why did you put a handful of cashews and peanuts in my meal plan if that's what's going to make me fat? So the right hand's not talking to the left hand.
Yep.
And they restrict so many things through this somatotype-based programming that I've had so many clients, dozens of clients, come to me and say, I believe that I've developed an eating disorder because of these practices. And that's my thing. So when I started looking into fitness and health when I got home from Afghanistan, because I was not the person I should have been over there. I was not in shape. I couldn't do a pull-up to save my life or yours. So when I got home, I took some accountability, and I was like, I need to fix my shit. So I Googled, how do you get jacked? Mm-hmm. And guess who comes up?
Vshred.
Vshred.
No
right?
shit.
So you watch all of his stupid videos, you jump through his somatotype shit, and then you pay for his program.
You paid for it?
I did.
How much?
It was like $70-something bucks, and it's
reoccurring? It was like a monthly thing, or just
yeah.
like a flat fee?
So is it
They're trying to loop you in.
They loop you in, and
kinda
they add things, and they go on and go on. Now this was years ago, and so luckily I had the mental fortitude to be like, this kind of looks like bullshit, right?
Uh-huh.
And so then I started doing my own research, and that's when I found out what a fucking calorie is. I was 25 before I found out what a calorie was. Shout out to American education.
Real.
So then that's when I found the likes of Will Tennyson, right? Greg Doucette. Those guys that are worth listening to some degree, right? Mm-hmm. And I started putting into their practices. And that's where Count Your Fucking Calories came from. Because I had this epiphany where it's like, okay, it's not restriction, right? It's not cutting out carbohydrates or cutting out fats. It's literally just counting your calories. So that was that moment where I'm sitting there, I'm at work, and I'm on my computer, and I'm like, how do you lose weight, right? And I'm actually doing the research, and it's like caloric deficit. That's a theme that keeps popping up, right? So I started trying to learn about that. I'm like, it's literally counting your fucking calories. Mm-hmm. That's why I say, count your fucking calories. That's it. So it's not restriction, right? It's replacement, right? Mm-hmm. That's it. Substitution. If you want an Oreo, have a fucking Oreo.
Just count it.
Yeah, just count it, right?
Yep.
And that it takes a level of self-control. And counting calories for me is a way to help with my eating disorder, because I developed an eating disorder well before I ever figured all this out. Binge eating, where I would binge and I would work out to the point where I would end up purging all that food because I was punishing myself for my choices.
Throwing up?
Oh, yeah.
And that was like unintentional?
There was intentional moments.
Okay.
So, and those are dark moments by yourself, you know what I mean? And you pretend it didn't happen, and you never tell anybody about it, and you move on, but it becomes a cycle. Right. And so, it helps me control that, but for some people, it gives them anxiety, right? Having to count every single thing, but for me, it gives me control, right? So I went to therapy for these things. Being very open about that, mental health is a huge part of fitness. Your mental fitness controls your physical fitness, period. Correct. Right? So if you're not right up here, you're not going to be right in here.
Hell yeah.
Right? So that's when I started going to therapy and figuring out how can I control these disordered behaviors, right? So if I know how much I'm eating, I won't have anxiety about what I'm putting in my body and what it's going to do to me. So count your fucking calories. That's it.
It's simple.
That's it. It's simple.
There you go.
Can I like dive back into like sort of the eating disorder?
Yeah.
You don't mind?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like interesting to me. So you were binge eating. I never really, I guess, talked to someone face to face on like what moment did you realize like, oh shit, like I'm just fucking eating to eat.
Yeah.
And were you stuffed to the point where like you just felt like shit?
So the specific scenario that comes to mind, I wouldn't eat for days, right?
Okay.
I would restrict calories for days and days.
Days, like you wouldn't eat anything?
Correct.
Would you drink water?
Sure.
Okay.
And like I would restrict for days, and the specific scenario, I woke up because of my hunger.
Okay.
I was in pain.
Yeah.
And so I woke up and I went downstairs in my house and I cooked. And I ate over the stove 18 chili dogs. Bread, toppings, all of it.
Yeah.
And to make matters worse, I got sick after number 9, and I came back for the rest.
Jeez.
And then after that, I was like, oh no, what have I just done? And I was like, I have to go run now. I have to do cardio. I've got to punish myself. I've got to work this off.
Yeah.
How? And then of course, like you're talking to yourself. Of course you would do this. How? Like, why would you think of yourself as any different than this moment right here?
Yeah.
So it's detrimental. So I go try to run. I'm 304 pounds, and I'm trying to run 6 miles. And I'm just in pain, the back pain, the knee pain, the hip pain. And then I throw up, right? I get sick. And then I go home, and I don't eat for 2 more days. And that's that moment right there where I walk back into my house. I'm sweaty. I've got vomit on my sweater, mom's spaghetti. And I broke down. I started crying. I'm like, dude, I've got a problem, right? And that was one moment where I realized I had a problem, and I still didn't know how to fix it, right? I still didn't know where to go. And when you start looking for answers, it's so hard to find those answers in the fitness world, right? Because there's so many people that are selling their solution to that problem, right? Their key solution, because it's their brand, right? But there is one solution, and it's literally counting your fucking calories. That's it. If you can control yourself based on numbers, then you can control those disordered behaviors.
Yep.
Right? Because there's ways to eat satiating foods, right? It's just the simple choices. They say success is showing up 80%, right? 80% of success is showing up and doing the most obvious thing for an incredible amount of fucking time. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? So is it chicken and rice all the time? No. Right? Rice isn't even as high on the satiety scale as potatoes are. And potatoes are less calories per gram than rice is. So every bodybuilder ever has got it wrong. Eat fucking potatoes instead of rice. So
I wouldn't know. You can tell me whatever.
It has a higher release of leptin, which is the satiety hormone, right? So all of these things are simple, but they're not easy because they're habits that you have to build over time. So what I tell a lot of my clients is like, we don't jump straight into the gym, right? We look at what you're eating. We look at how you're eating. We look at your habits around your eating, right? Are you eating because you're hungry? Or are you eating because you're bored, right? How are we helping our digestion? What do our steps look like?
Yeah.
Walking is incredibly underrated. So the binge eating, it's still something I struggle with. It is. I have trigger foods. Anything bite size, I fuck it up. I do all you can eat sushi like once every 2 months, right? Because sushi is a trigger food of mine, and I want to have control over that. So I do it once every 2 months to show myself that I have that control. And I slowly expose myself to these things, right? Oreos, big trigger for me. Pop that thing in my mouth, it's done.
Yeah.
And so when I started following Will Tennyson and I started doing his program, his 4-day-a-week split, I did it for 4.5 years. Every Friday on that program, I would have a Boston cream donut. Every Friday. Because that was something that I got to look forward to. So that's where counting the calories and controlling these things in moderation comes from. So I still struggle with binge eating. I still have moments where I have these urges, and I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be perfect,
yeah.
right? It's about the struggle. It's about the grind, and it's about the choices.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I'm glad you got a hand on it. Obviously, I mean, you're sitting here looking great.
Thank you.
You transformed a physique, going from 300 pounds to like sub 200.
Yeah, sub 200. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Thank you.
Most people can't do that.
I think most people can. Most people won't.
Yeah, everybody could.
Yeah.
All right, everybody
yeah.
can, and everybody has it in them. It's just most people won't.
Correct. Yeah. And go ahead, Brodie.
That is just the thing that blows my mind, is that you can. Why don't you want to? What do you think is like the biggest reason people don't?
The knowledge, right?
Knowledge.
It's the hurdle of knowledge. And that's why I'm trying to find a position or a foothold in the fitness world where I can close that entry gate into fitness that Vshred has and open my own, right? Because the idea of the whole fuck Vshred movement, right, which has caught on in other countries, mind you. There was a guy in London who tagged a building with my name and fuck Vshred. It was awesome.
Yeah.
The whole idea there is to stop the funnel of the younger generation into going into that route. And then just to, without a paywall, without all that stuff, be like, hey man, count your calories. Just start there, right? Graduate to counting your macros, right? Here's how many grams of protein you should probably eat.
Yep.
Right? And then here's how you should train. Just progressive overload. Get a little bit stronger each time, or just change your intensity. Here's how you do that, right? Those moments where you can simplify things.
Yep.
Because fitness is not convoluted. It's not complicated. It is simple, but it's not easy.
Yep.
Right? That's the thing. Is 90% of it showing up and doing it,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the hardest part's in the kitchen, right? How do you fuel your body? You can do all the work in here, and it's not going to matter if you don't get your nutrition under control.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
And that's for everything though too.
100%.
If you're gonna remain fat, or just if you want to actually put on muscle, like you gotta be eating.
Sure.
Like
Yeah. I mean, that's a big thing. And a lot of my clients, when they come to me that have a lot of adipose tissue to lose, they'll say things like, "Oh, I've always been fat." Okay. Yes, but no. Right? You have fat. You are not fat. You have fingernails, but you are not fingernails. It's something we have and we carry with us.
Love that.
Right? But it doesn't define you. On my mirror in my home gym, I have quotes that help me, right? I am not my skin. I am not my body. I am not my body fat. Because you're worth more than your image. Everybody is. That being said, I've got body dysmorphia. All of my value is tied up in how I view myself in the mirror and how people view me as I go through life. I'm constantly tugging at my shirt when I sit down. I'm constantly thinking about the small amount of adipose tissue that I have on my midsection currently because I'm in a bulk. I'm always worried that I look worse than I do, right? And I think that's everybody that finds themselves in the fitness world, right? Especially guys that have your type of following or my type of following to a degree where a lot of eyes are on you, right? Because there's an expectation now, right? That's difficult. And going to a bulk, I'm terrified, right?
Of course.
And it's, I mean, your name is Brodie SHREDZ.
Yeah.
Imagine if you put on 20 pounds.
Brodie Falgoust.
Yeah, Brodie Falgoust. Yeah, you have to start a new page.
All right.
Say bye-bye to the million followers you got.
Exactly. But the
That's not who
Vshred
you
thing,
are.
the Vshred thing caught on, and now they've completely blocked their comment section on TikTok, which is hilarious. Like they'll
Because of you. Yeah, you just do.
I'm pretty sure it's because of me.
Yeah, it
I'm not,
probably
pat myself on the back too hard, but there was one video that they didn't block the comments, and they had posted, I think, 20 hours prior to me seeing it, and it had like 13 likes and 87 comments. And the comments were all fuck Vshred. Or, hey, ScottyKFitness said this guy sucks ass. Like, all kinds of, it was awesome, dude.
Yes.
Very vindicating. So, but I think that we're starting to get to a point to where people are realizing. I've gotten comments that are like, "Oh, I'm so glad that I found you before I bought into this shit." Right?
No, honestly, you're saving a lot of people. You're doing justice, man.
That's the goal.
Especially because you personally was roped into that trick yourself.
Yeah, and I didn't lose a ton of money or a
Right.
ton of time, but there's people who have.
Yep.
And look, there's some people that it works. Right? You can do the wrong shit for a considerable amount of time and get some goals.
Yep.
Right? Some gains. You can make some progress. Like I lost weight the wrong way for a long time. I restricted too hard, or I worked out too hard, or I did the wrong shit. But it will work. But you could be doing it smarter, you know, which is where I try to help people implement these practices moving forward.
I think we need to get that boxing match set up. Vshred versus Scotty K.
Don't worry, if I see him in the wild, it's on site.
On
On
site.
site.
Yeah,
You actually mean that? Okay, so
I
like
do
let's
actually
say,
mean that.
Okay,
You actually have beef.
I love 100%.
You hated him.
I-
When it triggered in your head, like you were like how did you feel when it all just like everything just like
I'm not a violent man. I'm
Yeah.
capable of violence, I
Uh-huh.
think, and I think that's what makes me a peaceful person. Those who have witnessed incredible violence rarely often want to witness it twice. The point being is that he is the face of everything that is wrong with the fitness world, in my opinion. That company is the McDonald's of fitness, from grill to window in 30 seconds.
yeah.
It's all bullshit, and it hurts people, right? That's my big thing, is that you are profiting off of ignorance instead of teaching, and it fuels a rage in me. So it's on site. And my Discord community is already like, they're like, yep, if it happens, we'll bail you out. We got you.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
We got you too.
Deal. That's awesome. But yeah.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. So like realistically, did you fight him?
Yes. Yeah, without a shadow.
Dude's
of a doubt.
shaking in his boots right now. He's watching his pod. He's like, oh, please, tell me it's a joke, man.
Yeah.
I love that he's got to know who you are.
Oh, 100%. I know he does. I know he
Right.
does. From the conversations I've had with the people that used to work there, I know he does.
Are you ever gonna come out and speak on that? Like exactly what's going on? Because I think you have more than what you told me yesterday. Correct?
I do. I don't want to get to a point to where I am being
Sued.
sure.
Yeah.
Right? So like, there's terms I can utilize that, allegedly.
Yeah.
Right. It's been reported. There's a lot that goes into it. I know how they treat the trainers. I know how they treat the clients, and I know that it's not good for anybody involved except the people who are lining their pockets.
Yeah.
Right. Allegedly, right? If I were the client and you were the coach, and I spent all this money for them to send me to you, guess how much money you make as a coach? $9.
Oof,
That's it.
it's fucked.
Period. As a client, allegedly, I could reach out as many times as I want for changes in my program, meal plans, workouts, whatever it is. You have to reply within 8 hours. If you don't get paid. Allegedly.
Really?
Here's the thing. You don't get paid for the changes. So you could have, say, 300 clients funneled to you. Each of them could be emailing you throughout the week for changes that you have to make within 8 hours, or they stop sending you more clients, and you're not getting paid. Allegedly. It's a shitty company.
You stole the words out of my mouth. I was going to say, that's pretty shitty.
Yeah, it's a shitty company. They don't, and there's some people that find success in it, right? As a coach.
How do you go, like, you have no morals. Like, how do you feel good about, like,
that doesn't matter.
Robbing people? I guess people rob banks, so.
But it doesn't matter because morals aren't a part of that company. The integrity of the company is in question as a whole.
Yeah.
Based on the things that I've been told, right? And that's the thing. That's why I don't necessarily name Vincent Sant as a person. I name the company that he is the face of, because I hate the company. I hate what they stand for. I hate how they treat people who have told me how they've been treated. That's my problem with the company. I hate that they base everything off of a pseudoscience, right? That's like people who pay, who get paid for speaking to ghosts. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's not real.
Yeah.
You're preying on people's pain, and that's what this is. People who are overweight and want to change, they're in pain. People who have chronic pain because they're overweight or their health markers are horrible, they're pre-diabetic, they're type 2 diabetic because they don't know how to fix it the way I didn't know how to fix it, and you're gonna profit off of that?
It's on site.
That's what makes me, it's on site. Yep.
Man. I don't even know what to say for that.
That's real.
It's real. I mean, and that's the thing is, like, if you don't care about people, sure, do whatever the fuck you want, right? But I care about people. Yeah. That's why I do what I do.
I do think there's a lot of people in the industry just chasing a bag, regardless of how they how they acquire that money. Doesn't matter as long as they get paid.
I've often said, like, it doesn't matter if I make $1 doing this, and I've made a few, but it doesn't matter. If this ends tomorrow, this will be the coolest shit that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter if I can't make an effect on one more person before it ends. One more. That's all. Yeah. That's it. So that's my goal, is one person every day, right? And I think I'm making an impact. You know, I started this series called Sup Kid. I do the fitness myths video, like I talked about, and I'm cursing the whole time, right? You know, while I'm eating a pizza, I'm like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. And I had one comment come through, and I was looking forward to this. I wanted to help the younger generation the way that I needed help, but I didn't want to be like, count your fucking calories and fuck that guy and fuck this and be like, hi kids, like that'd have been weird. And so this one lady reached out and was like, I would love to show this to my daughters. Could you make a kid-friendly version? I was so ecstatic. Like, I ran home from work, went straight into my garage. It was hotter than fuck. But I filmed this whole video, and I think I got the format right almost immediately. Because I've been a part of mental health advocacy for some time. And I have the temperament for it from what I've gone through, the depression, the PTSD, the binge eating, all the things I've been through, and being a father myself. I have that temperament. So when I stepped on screen, it just naturally happened. Sup, kid? Mind if we talk? And then I've got 8 things, because it's more than 5 and it's less than 10, right? So I give an expectation. I got 8 things. Is that cool? Cool. Now we've agreed. You're going to listen. I've got 8 things for you. You agreed? Let's talk about it, right? And so then we go into it. And number 1, it's breathe. You know how many times I've gotten comments where I'm like people are like, I legit forgot how to breathe when you said that. Like, breathe. And then we just take a big breath together, because that slows everything down, right? That's the point. It's taking those moments from the massive amounts of input that we get throughout our day, right? Especially in places like New York, or just scrolling on your phone, right? You are just intaking content constantly.
Yep.
And it's entertain me and make me laugh and, you know, sell me a product. But there's a moment where you can breathe. And then I go into the next thing. And I never script these things. It's always like, what do I want to talk about? What do I think would help in this moment, right?
Right.
And so one of the most recent ones was you're struggling with change. I brought that up because school just started, right? A lot of kids are going back to school. Let's talk about it, right? And so those things help. And I had a comment early on in that series where somebody was like, I hope you know that these videos are saving people's lives. I replied, I just genuinely hope that that's true. And I had thousands of comments on that thread where people were like, yep, can confirm, saved mine. And that gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
because that matters. That's tangible. That matters. So that's why I keep doing it.
I mean, that's worth more than anything. Like, that's priceless, man.
And I can do it once a week. It's when I shave.
It's when I shave. That grows in a week? That long?
Well,
No,
this
he's
is
beard.
This is like
Beard. Sorry,
this is like 3 days. Like, I get a hotel room every time too, because I have 4 daughters, and I got to control the lighting. I got to control the noise, and it's emotional. It's things that I wish were told to me when I was a young man, and so what I struggled with when I was growing up, and so I get emotional sometimes.
Yeah.
If I'm not crying during the shaving, I'm crying when I'm editing that shit. And so it's always an emotional process for me just to get that stuff out. And I think being vulnerable and being a mustached, angry, red hat weightlifter and then being able to turn around and be like, hey, let's talk about some real shit.
Yeah.
It subverts the expectation and it gets people thinking. And I think that is what connects.
Did you have someone growing up to teach you that stuff?
No. I met my dad when I was 17.
Really?
I tracked him down, and he didn't know my name.
You tracked down your dad.
Yeah.
Oof.
How come?
Why did I track him down?
Uh-huh.
I had this expectation built up in my mind as to the type of man he was, and I wanted to find out if I was right, and I was not.
What kind of man did you think he was?
Somebody that would...
If you want to get into it.
No, absolutely. I wanted him to be somebody that tried, right? I wanted to hear stories about how he tried and that it didn't work out and why. But I was wrong.
Wow.
He never tried. And I grew up with a drug addict mother who had a litany of boyfriends, a bunch of stepdads, and so I grew up without that role model. I didn't know how to shave until I joined the Army, or I went to a military academy. And so there was a drill sergeant there named Ryan Nolan, and that guy, I haven't talked about him yet publicly, but man, that dude, I'd take a bullet for him any day of the week and twice on Sunday. He taught me how to shave. Like in the military community or that world, it's expected for you to have a clean cut appearance, like you. And so they're like, shave your face. I'm a 16-year-old snot kid. I don't know how to do that. I've been in my own since I was 14.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
And this guy, Ryan Nolan, Drill Sergeant Nolan, he takes me into the restroom. He's like, all right, dickhead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he teaches me how to do it. And there was a moment where, like, I got done, and he softened up through the process, right?
Yeah.
He's like, all right, wash your face, right? And then put on this shaving cream and so on and so on. And he walked me through every single stroke of my razor blade. And then afterwards, he was like, good job. And, like, that built something right there. And I would follow that guy anywhere.
You think he knew?
He definitely knew.
Yeah.
He definitely knew. And I went back and I worked at that academy for troubled youth. That's what it was. As a drill sergeant, as soon as I could, because I wanted to give back to that community. And that's where I started doing the same thing that he did, right? And he and I are still friends.
Awesome.
He's a great dude. He made me, for the first time, realize that I had value in myself. And I think that's where the structure comes in with the military. A lot of troubled young men and women find the military for the structure because they can succeed in something that actually has a value that they can, that's tangible, that they can feel and see. And so that's where I learned that. But then past that point, everything else was stumbling, I didn't know how to be a good man or a good person. I was a piece of shit for a long time. I was a bad friend, a bad brother, a bad husband, and a bad soldier in the Army. I was a fat guy. I malingered. I faked a back injury because I was heavy, and I didn't want to face that. I was afraid to take that personal accountability, like, okay, I'm the heavy guy. This is my fault. I have to fix it. I blamed it on everybody else. Like, it's not me, it's everybody else. They're to blame. It wasn't until I got home from Afghanistan that I realized how the world really worked, right? And you have to take accountability for yourself, and you have to fix your own shit, because no one else is going to do it for you. No one is coming to save you. You got to do it yourself.
Damn right.
Damn right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's good. And you did it yourself. Good shit.
Figured it out.
It's been a long process.
Yeah.
So that's why you're so heavy on wanting to help others?
Yeah, because going through that shit alone is hard, you know. I have a lot of clients that come to me who do not realize that they are in the middle of binge eating. And they'll tell me, like, I don't know how I'm still gaining weight. Like, okay, let's talk about your eating habits, right? And then I really get in on it, and they finally tell me, I'm like, okay, so instead of going straight home and eating the food that you cooked or that you could cook, you stopped at Wendy's. How many burgers did you get, right? Where'd you eat them? Did you eat them in your car, in the parking lot? How many did you eat in the parking lot before you took them home and you lied to your husband or your wife about how many were in the bag, right? And we get real deep into that shit. And then I've had clients straight up bawl their eyes out because I respectfully and lovingly call them on their shit.
Right.
Because I care. If you can be honest with me, a stranger, a mustache on the internet, I can help you.
Yeah.
Because it's the habits that you build, right? I tell a lot of my clients, you know, when you go to the gym, right, it's the same thing as building habits at home. We're slowly breaking down the muscle so that we can build it back stronger. So we slowly change our habits so we can build them stronger. It's 5% changes, right? I don't need you to meal prep 28 meals for a week. I need you to plan your lunch tomorrow. That's it. And then we'll start there.
Yeah.
You know? So I love helping people. That's my biggest thing. And my wife is, she's my manager.
Yeah.
Because I would do the shit for free. And I did for a while. I mean, I had a lot of people reach out to me and they're like, can you help me? Absolutely. I would build programs and just like send them out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'd give like nutrition classes and just like, come on over and I'll teach you. And my wife was like, you need to like make something off of this. It's taking time away from the family. And I'm like, I don't like the paywall, you know, and it got to a point to where now I have to, right? Because it's something that I can offer. And I've lost sleep over it, you know. I've lost sleep over charging money for the knowledge that I can give others because I feel as if it should be common knowledge. So why should I monetize that? But I'm also horrible at prescribing myself any value, right? I struggle with valuing myself, which is huge because in the fitness space, I've been here for 3.5 months. I went from 700 followers to where I am now on TikTok alone in 3.5 months. And so I don't feel like I belong here. I don't feel like I've earned my position in the fitness community.
I know that feeling.
It's
I know what you mean.
The imposter syndrome.
Yep.
Right? Why the fuck am I here? Why
Yeah.
me?
Facts.
You know, there's 100 different people standing outside that want what you got. Why do you deserve it? Right? And so I struggle with that. And so I can't prescribe myself that value because I don't believe in myself as much as everybody else does. And that's not behind closed doors. I'm very open about that.
Yeah.
Because I want people to know that, you know, what you see on your phone is not different than who I am in real life. I may be silly when I'm in the kitchen, but that's real. That's how I am anyway. I mean, I don't jump on my counters every fucking time, but I'm hopping around all the time, and I struggle like everybody else does. I think everybody does. And keeping this idea on social media that you're perfectly manicured and that everything is awesome all the time and that I'm in Ibiza and now I'm in Dubai and I'm at a Gymshark event. Like, fucking, I went to a Yankees game for the first time ever yesterday, which was an amazing thing to experience. I was overstimulated the whole time. I had a fucking panic attack on the way home. Like,
oh shit.
like,
Yeah.
I suffer, man, and like I think that's the human experience is suffering together. That's what it should be, right? Because being alone in those moments, fucking sucks.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest thing is I don't want people to feel alone. You know what I mean?
Damn.
That's real, and like that's why I love the gym because there's no better community than weightlifters, man. You're never alone. You need a spot, I got you, right? You need somebody to call you on your shit, I got you. You had one more rep in the tank, I got you.
Hell
right?
yeah.
That's real because we build each other up. My first Sup Kid video, I said, first or second one, I said, your value does not come from the amount of weight that you lift. The heaviest lift you'll ever do is the others around you, right? That's it. Because that's what really matters. I don't care if you can fucking overhead press 315. Are you a dickhead? Are you mean to the small guy?
Yeah.
You know, if you're a buff dude and you don't build up others around you, I don't give a shit, right?
Yeah.
I want the guy that shows up every day, who spots the people, who gives advice, and the real shit. That's what I want. That's what is real value.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot to learn just from the gym alone that you could apply to your, like, actual life.
100%.
And, no, it's crazy. I think it's been a big building block for me, you know, just the gym and being able to apply just the little things in real life. And just, like, even meeting people today and being able to just, like, talk to them and hear that I just love that shit, man.
Yeah.
It's the best thing ever. People think it's annoying, and they're like, oh, I've probably heard this 1,000 times. Like, tell me, man.
Yeah.
Please tell me, because, like, that's what I'm doing this shit for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Honestly.
I'm on Twitch, and we don't play video games anymore. We just chat.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of comments like, I'm sure you hear this all the time, but man, you help me. I was like, oh, yeah, I've heard it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that your thank you is diminished.
Uh-huh.
Like, fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome here.
Yep.
I'm so proud of you, you know? And, like, that's my big thing, man, is people deserve to be felt proud of.
Yeah.
When's the last time somebody said they're proud of you?
Semi-recently, but, like, before that, it was a long, long time.
Long time,
Yeah.
right? Because you don't get that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as an adult, you don't get that.
Yeah.
And especially the people who grew up without, like, decent parents.
Yeah.
Right.
Or like coaches, you know? Without that structure. That's what people crave. That's what the gym provides me, is structure, right?
Otherwise, you're just lost.
Because I will never get perfect at this, right? There's always something to get better at. There's always something to strive for and grind for, right? There's always something to try. That's it. That's it, man. I love it.
Yeah, and you can't beat yourself, man. Yeah,
No.
You know, like you like, there's no max level, there's no tippity top, because
Nope.
it's always you.
Nope.
You know, it's always you.
And the health benefits from lifting weights are insane.
Yeah.
You know, like, I can't tell you, being in the first responder world, you know, after women hit menopause, their bones get weaker.
Yep.
You know, so if you lift weights as a young woman and you get fucking jacked, you lose less bone density after menopause because you've built your bone density up through lifting weights. Same thing with men as they get older and they haven't, you know, lifted weights heavily or in any moderation, their body deteriorates faster. I believe that muscle is medicine, right? Because that's the first thing to go, right? I never ran on a healthy muscle bound person, even in their older age, that fell in the shower. You know? I won't name names or scenarios or times, but there was a call that I got as I was an EMT of a 35-year-old-ish male who had fallen in his kitchen and couldn't get up. First thing that came to mind, like, 35, bro, get up. Right?
Yeah.
Show up, and guy's obese, right? Not incredibly obese, but he's obese. And we end up kicking his door in, and we go inside. And guy's got bruises all over his body, right? In different stages of healing. Now, that's an indication of abuse. Bro lives alone. What the fuck is going on, right? We ask him all the questions. We secure his cervical spine. We get him on the cot. We get him in the ambulance. I start doing a secondary assessment because he's fallen, so it's a trauma assessment. We check his head. Bro's got a subdermal hematoma on his cranium, which means he's got pressure building in his brain because he fell and he smacked his noggin on something. So, shit, right? Now we got to drive faster. That's the only medicine for that is diesel. So, like, we're moving. And long story short, this gentleman had eaten himself into type 2 diabetes and did not know it. He had no idea he had diabetes. And he had fallen so many times because he would get up and he would pass out. And he would wake up and not realize what happened. That's where all the bruises came from. And he had one last fall. And that hematoma grew, and the pressure in his brain grew, and his brain herniated through the foramen magnum, which is the hole in the base of your skull, which created posturing of the It's a whole thing. He passed away.
Wow.
Because he ate himself to that point.
Damn.
And it's those habits that I try to help people with. It's the health that I try to help people with. You can literally save your own life when you have the knowledge. That's the coolest part about doing this stuff is like you can change everything, right? Are you pre-diabetic? You can change it, right? Are you obese? You can change it. You want to get jacked? Let's go, right? And that's what the fitness community is amazing for, is because there's places like this fucking everywhere, right? You walk into any gym and it's got a guy in it. You're like, hey, bro, can I get a spot? Bro's going to say yes, right? If he's been there for any amount of time, bro's going to say yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it, man. Like, the community itself around fitness is unmatched. It's unmatched. So, and that's why I love working out with you guys, right? Because you push each other, right? And it's banter, and it's fun, right?
It's fun too, though.
Yeah, and you're freakishly strong.
Thank you. Yeah, I got it twice on a pod.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Working out with you yesterday, you know, we were doing triceps. You one up me, you know, on overhead triceps. That's so much fun. You know, it's just going back and forth with the guys.
Push each other.
And it's cool, and building each other up. That's what matters, you know.
Yeah. So it would have been no way I felt like doing 275 for 10, 11 reps, whatever I did, if you guys weren't there. I was like, all right, like, fuck it, let's get into it, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know, and you almost tore your pec, so.
Yeah. No, there it is. My fears looked at the same weight in its eyes.
Yeah.
And look at me overcoming things.
There you go. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. Now I've benched 275 since then, but nonetheless, you know, it still was actually. It was a freaky thing to gut up that weight the first time I ever like re-benched again. Yeah. And I was like, "Fuck, this was the weight." Like, but
you got it though, man.
Yeah, as long as I got it.
Yeah. So, I gotta ask of like, what got you guys into it? Because like you've asked me, right, how I got here.
Yeah.
So what started you into fitness shit?
I'd love to answer that question right now, but I just want to use the bathroom really quick.
Go for it. All right, Brodie, your turn.
I'll answer it. Yeah. So for me. I wasn't blessed with height. God knew I would have been too powerful, so he had to nerf me.
100%.
Right? So I was always a small guy, and then I was weirdly skinny.
Okay.
I had the skinny guy abs, so I had that going for me, but I was always smaller. I was always weaker. I was always faster, but I was always weaker.
Valid.
So it really got to me in college, when I got to college, and I played college baseball. I show up. Everybody looks like they're grown-ass men. And I don't have pop on the ball. We're doing workouts. I'm weak. And honestly, I was just super insecure because I was like skin and bones. And I never had confidence, even social skills. I would never start a conversation because I was insecure. And so I was like, how do I change it? Gym. Boom. So I got into it, and I fell in love with it instantly. I said, holy shit. I'm seeing results from this. And nothing in my life up to that point I really stuck to and seen results. Besides baseball, kind of. You know, you practice enough, you get better at what you do. That was the first thing in life, man, because I didn't really focus on school super hard. Never really loved it. And that was one thing that I stuck to it. I seen results, and then I fell in love. I was like, holy shit, I could change everything. Through that, my social skills got better. I was able to, like, start conversations. Confidence with women, everything. I'm still scared to talk to women. I'm a good conversation haver. Just approaching them's the hard part.
How does it feel going from that background character to the main character?
I still feel like the background character. Right. I it's cool. I was never a spotlight kind of guy. I was always the background character, like in high school, everything. And being in the spotlight's a little different.
Yep.
But at the same time, it feels good. It feels good every once in a while.
I mean, it's a fulfilling thing, you know? Like the people that follow you, that enjoy your content, that like you as a person, they want to take pictures, that's fulfilling, right?
It is.
When a lot of people are like, oh, it must be annoying. Fuck no, dude. It's awesome. I get to experience that.
I don't think I'll ever get annoyed. And we talk about this a lot. You don't see any creators kind of like our size that would just go and like take the time to pop out to an event just to say hi to people. Yeah. You don't see it a lot. I'm sorry. People definitely do it.
Yeah. Sure. I did a meet and greet in Central Park yesterday, you know, and we're there for an hour. It was short, but you know, being able to have conversations with people and then just like walking around New York. I mean, leaving Central Park, some guy was like, "Hey," and I was like, whoa, I thought I was going to get robbed. But I was like, I love your shit. So, I mean, you know, like you were talking about, I mean, I lifted weights when I was younger. You know, I started lifting weights when I was 11. That was when I fell in love with it. Like, but I didn't know how to do it, you know? Yeah. I started lifting because I wanted to beat up my stepdad. I did.
Hey. Did you really?
I did, yeah.
Also, that's badass.
Yeah, broke his nose. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
So, but I'd lock myself in my bedroom and I would make workout programs. Bar graphs, because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. You know, I'd be like, I'm going to do this many push-ups.
Yeah.
And that's where I fell in love with that, because I was that quiet kid. I got bullied a lot. You know, I was in choir growing up, and drama. They were like, that guy is definitely not straight. And like, you know, I got bullied a ton. And I was like, dude, I never started conversations, you know, like you were talking about. I was never that guy that people hung around to talk to, you know, and going from that to the pretty privilege that is given to broad shoulder, straight teeth, and blue-eyed people, you know, or incredibly jacked looking dudes, it's strange, right? Because people want to talk to you. People are interested in what you have to say, and it is a duality, right? Where you have that imposter syndrome that I think all of us really struggle with.
Yeah.
So what got you into it?
To just fitness in general?
Being where you are now, like how did you decide, like, okay, I'm gonna be fucking this guy, right? Because you are that guy.
Thank you.
Right?
Man, like, I don't know, dude, I just always felt different.
Yeah.
I don't know. Growing up, I've always felt different. Like, I never, like, by the time, like I don't know, even through school, like, I was always struggling with education at an early age, like first grade and stuff like that. I went to extra, like, I had to take first grade twice, and I just never really applied myself, and I was never really there. And that's just, like, early ages, always felt weird, always felt a little different. Not so different. Like, I participated in, like, the fun activities,
Sure.
and I love physical stuff. But by the time I got to, like, to high school, you know, for me, it was never like I envisioned being a doctor or this or that, and had like a career path that college would guide you there, like
right.
take you there, whatever. But I don't know. I've just always been a weirdo, you know, a little bit of a weirdo, but I don't know. I always just had this like thing, and fitness was always there because I grew up with a dad that we had a gym.
Ooh, what was that like?
Dude. I grew up with a dad. I had a dad, yeah, and I definitely owe a lot of, like, you know, my early inspiration to getting into fitness.
Yeah.
And to him, obviously, I grew up and we had gym. I was born with gym equipment at the house.
I love that.
You know, and eventually, when I got to the age, I was curious enough. I tell this a lot, but like, you know, I'd just knock on the door because it would be in, like, you know, if you walk into a basement, there's like a laundry room that separated the laundry room with like, the old sink and everything.
Yeah.
But my dad had a leg press, a bench press, a calf raise, all the old York plates. And, you know, I'd knock on it, hear him playing music, and like, whatever. And then eventually when I got old enough, you'd put me on the bench, and I'd bench the bar, you know, and you have a chalkboard, you know, write that down. And, you know, obviously to make a long life story short, I got really into it when I got to, like, 16. I started, like, having an actual, like, routine. It wasn't just bench. I'd bench with my dad here and there, like, really, like, not routine at all growing up, but like I just loved to be in the gym with my dad. And then so got into fitness heavy, got my first GoPro to sort of like record content when I was like 17 in high school. That didn't really go far. I moved from my home state, New Jersey, to South Carolina for family reasons that I won't really get into. But for family reasons, moved to South Carolina. The garage gym moved with us. Eventually, like, there's a lot to it, but like we moved all that stuff with us. Always lifted. That was always my safe place. Always knew, like, that's what I love the most. So eventually, I was like, I'm just gonna start making content. I'm consuming so much content. I'm seeing everybody else do this content thing, posting YouTube videos. Like, why not me do it? Like, you know what I mean? So I started posting YouTube videos every single day. I started making. I learned how to edit. My brother would help me, and my little brother would help me edit, figure out how to get the software and all this shit, and having money. But like, I was like, I'm gonna freaking be a YouTuber, you know?
Fuck it.
Yeah, like I love like lifting weights, and I can put my own spin on it. Like I never took a personal training course. I was never a coach. I never was a nutritionist, but I had experience.
Yeah.
And I never told people like what
Sure.
to eat and stuff like that because I knew like I was not knowledgeable in that. So like I always would say like, don't listen to me, but I got good advice.
Yeah.
That can help you, you know.
Grain of salt.
A grain of salt.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, no, I love that. And the best part was obviously in the beginning, like I was making no money, but like knowing people like felt better or like, you know, gained some inspiration to get into the gym themselves. That's what just kept me going.
So I think this is the most important part of, you know, having these conversations.
Yeah.
Is the different backgrounds that lead to the same place, because everybody has a place in fitness.
Yeah.
Except Vshred. Fuck that guy. But everybody has, you know, no matter what their background is.
Yep.
If you're a weirdo, if you're an outcast, if you feel like you don't belong somewhere, there's a spot on a bench.
Facts.
And we're waiting on you.
Hell
you know?
yeah.
That's the part. Because you grew up as the background character, right? You grew up in a gym,
Yeah.
right? I grew up fighting, right? And all of us are sitting here right now, right? It's every path leads to this, and it should, because this is real. This is tangible. These are the moments that matter, right?
Hell yeah.
I love that.
Hell yeah. Nah, it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a full believer that the gym could change anyone's life for the better.
100%. I haven't met anybody that fully committed to this and regretted it.
Right. That's true.
Right?
I mean, never heard somebody be like, I got so jacked, I just got sick of it. You know, like, I just got like my abs just got so ripped up that like I just couldn't take it.
Yeah. I mean, there is taking it too far, right?
Yep.
You got the Chads and the Brads who are like, I'm addicted to the gym. Like, no, you're not, right?
Yeah.
You know, you've never like lost your job in your house because you did squats for 6 days. It's not an addiction. You just you got a hobby.
Yeah. That's true. You never like couldn't get off the squat rack. my boss is calling me.
But
Yeah,
you know,
that's crazy.
take the advice of everybody in social media, myself included. You take all that stuff with a grain of salt. We're just regular ass dudes with iPhones, and we're professional yappers, right?
Yep.
It's find your flavor of fitness, whether it's CrossFit, whether it's strongman competitions, powerlifting, bodybuilding, aesthetics training, or calisthenics, right? Whatever. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
Do whatever the fuck you want.
Mm-hmm.
Just try to be healthier. You know?
Yeah.
Because health is wealth. It's longevity, right? You can't take the gains with you, but you can get a little bit farther down the road. You know what I mean? I love that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. We're at about 1:07 now.
Yeah.
I feel like I almost like don't want to like. Like it's such a good way to like end it too. Like, and I know it's getting late and stuff
valid.
like that. Damn, we could talk forever though.
Like I said, I'm a yapper. No, I appreciate you guys having me on. I've been looking forward to this, man. You know, shooting you a message and you know, seeing you guys do the podcast. I was like, fucking, I got to get on that, bro.
Hell yeah. And when I found out you were in New York, I was like, oh, dude, we got to get him.
I love that.
Hell yeah.
I love
and
that,
dude,
man.
like, the message you're spreading right now is the reason. You're going to pass. I fully believe you're going to pass both of us up number-wise. But
that's what they all. I would have said. I would have shook my head too.
because
you know?
but when people say, like you said, 700 to 1.7 mil, a lot of people, they fall off because that's too fast of momentum.
Yeah.
Because it's usually some sort of trend. You got a good thing going. You have multiple bits, but at the same time, you're preaching such a good message.
I'm trying, man.
It's so beneficial information for people that I don't see you not succeeding and being at like the highest level of this.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
no,
that,
honestly,
brother.
you're really well spoken. You got it. Like what you say is actually like authentically you.
100%, dude.
The way you say, like you have the experience. You've been through that shit for real.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, dude, I feel inspired. Like,
love
you
that.
make me want to keep inspiring people more and more, and better people. And yeah, I'm not kidding, bro.
I'm gonna cry. Stop it.
Nah, I'm not kidding, bro. Like you leave an impact, 100%, and the world needs you.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on. Thanks for working out with me.
Of
That's
course.
fucking awesome.
Yeah, I had a great lift. I've never clicked. I usually like takes me some time to warm up to people, especially after like meeting thousands of people today.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's
like
fair.
I am like quiet, but like you got me out of my sometimes shell that I go
Your
in.
social battery's got to be fucking depleted.
Yeah.
And you have a wedding to go to tomorrow.
Do have a
Does.
wedding.
At what time?
I don't know. She didn't let me know, so I don't know what I'm.
Man, I fly
in for.
home tomorrow, so I'm really glad I got to do this. We're going to be in San Diego, in like 4 days, and then we're going to be in Vegas after that. We've got so much stuff going on. But it's awesome because I get to experience these things with my wife, who is fucking incredible, right?
Awesome.
She's 93% of the reason why I'm sitting here right now, you know? So shout out to my wife. I love you. And shout out to the community that got me here as well, because I would not be here without every single person telling me that they believed in me.
100%.
Especially when I didn't believe in myself.
I feel that.
So, just again, man, thank you guys.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you.
The pleasure is ours.
It's late night. You got a flight tomorrow. We appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we'll just run it back again so we can just keep having you
We
preach,
might see you at the
man.
Olympia.
Let's go. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I'm there.
And I'm
We'll
sure no
definitely
one's
link
going
up.
to complain about you being reoccurring on a pod. You
Oh, I
know,
would
like
love that,
that's
dude.
that'd be
so cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys.
100%.
If you haven't followed this guy yet, ScottyKFitness. Is that your at?
Everywhere.
ScottyKFitness. Give him a follow. I promise you will not regret it.
Yep.
Once again, thanks for coming on.
Yep.
Guys, I think we can say this has been Thinking with a Pump. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Any last words?
If you want to plug something, go ahead.
Yeah, plugging, last words. Doesn't got to be.
Or just one final quote, message, whatever you want to say.
It's not what you do in a day. It's what you do every day. Believe in yourself. And I love you.
Once again, guys, as always, shout out to our beautiful sponsors. If you guys want to get the best shakers in the world and support the channel, Helimix, best shakers in the world. Like I said, code PUMP. Use that checkout for 15% off. Go get you one.
Save your money. Don't be dumb.
And also, we're both sponsored by the beautiful best supplements in the world, Ghost Lifestyle. So,
Yes, sir.
if you want to save at checkout, 20% off, you could use code SHREDZ or
Code GYMBRO.
love you guys. Thank you so much for the support, and let us know who y'all want to see next.
Hell yeah.
Later.
Later.